Good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, October 30th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is a Monday morning, a little rain falling out there, and it's going to turn cold. I guess we've enjoyed the last of summer, but a good morning to you. Welcome to our program, and let me welcome Don Hamlet with Absolute Kubota. Absolute Kubota is located at 1506 West Main in Lebanon. Don is in sales there, and he does a commercial for us at this time each Monday morning. Don, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. We were just talking about the Titans for a minute there, and I thought they'd win yesterday, but they won a little bit. It was, the score was not all that big, but they did play well. And
they look way better than they have looked, I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, what's happening at Absolute Kubota?
Got lots of good deals going. I know today is the 30th. Tomorrow is Halloween. It's always at the end of the month. We never know what our finance options or different rebates are going to be from one month to another. I do know what they are for October. We've got some really great deals for you. You come in and see us, I can promise you we're going to have some good deep discounts on any kind of zero-turn lawnmowers that we have. You can come in and see us today or tomorrow. I know for sure for right now we can get you financed like on a 700 series Kubota lawnmower. We can get you financed at 0%, zero down for 60 months. And we can get you fixed up on that. I do know for right now we have like all of our L series, LX, BX, your small farm type tractors. We can actually get all those financed for you at zero down, 0% interest for 84 months.
7 years.
7 years, no interest, just paying for the equipment, no penalty for early payoff or anything. We've got a lot of inventory right now. We've got tractors, implements, got a couple of pieces of construction equipment we'd like to talk to some people about. I know skid steers are very, very popular, excavators. Kubota makes some of the best construction equipment in the industry. We've got those. We've got those side-by-sides, those RTVs you and I always talk about. It is coming up on hunting season. I know muzzleloader season starts this coming weekend for the next couple of weekends, and then we'll be getting into big gun season and duck season. A lot of those guys need a good side-by-side RTV to get out there and run around. Another thing that I always like to start talking about at this time of the year, I know a lot of our guys that we deal with are in business for themselves. It would be great if they could go ahead and start talking to their accountants and see if they feel like they need to make any year-end purchases for tax reasons. That way we can make sure that we're getting them the best deal and that we have the piece of equipment there at the end of the month of December whenever they get ready to make that purchase.
Well, you've got a lot going for you, and as you were saying, it sometimes changes from month to month. You probably don't know about November just yet, but you do know about the last 2 days of October, and the deals are great.
The deals are great. We're willing to make some deals right now, so just give us a call, give us an opportunity. Our telephone number is easy. It's 615-449-6171. You can call in there, and we'll either get you over to the parts or service departments. You can go to our webpage if you want to, check out some of the equipment. It's just www.absolutekubota. Kubota is Kubota. You can go on there. The guys have got that set up real good. Lots of links to all the different pieces of equipment that we have, and it's a great place, a great resource, really, to get started on doing some research on which piece of equipment might be good for you.
Right. Well, how are you loaded with RTVs right now?
We're pretty good. We've actually got a couple of cab units. We've got a couple of four-seaters. That's the RTV 1140. Those are all diesel units. They have electrical or hydraulic dump beds on them. Great extra piece of equipment to have out on the farm or for the sports guys. A great piece to have.
All right, and like you like to say, I'll say it for you today, everything from weed eaters to hay balers.
That is correct. We got it. Ready to go.
Got a minute left. We might mention you're going to be open on Saturdays for a little bit longer, but then you'll just be open 5 days a week till into the spring, I believe.
That is correct. We are open Monday through Friday right now from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And through the Saturday before Thanksgiving, we are open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon. And then from Thanksgiving weekend through the first weekend of February, we will be closed on Saturdays, still having our weekly hours, and then we'll start opening them back up on Saturdays again.
All right, and just to close out this morning, remind people if they need maintenance work done, now's a good time. Don't even wait till the first of the year. Go ahead and get started now. Mowing season's about over.
That is correct. Go ahead and get it on in. Maybe it won't be much of a wait. You can drop it off one day and then just pick it up a few days later. Clint and those guys over there get you fixed up.
Don, thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next Monday.
Thanks, Coleman. Have a great day.
All right. Don Hamlet, Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. We're 10 minutes after the hour. I've invited our county finance director to be my guest this day. That is Aaron Maynard. Aaron doesn't get to come here as much as I'd like, to be honest about it, but I have known Aaron for a long time, I'd say most of his life, and know his mother and father, who are still doing business over on South Maple at Cleanway Cleaners, right?
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you, Coleman?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's good to see you this morning. You like sports.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know how much time you get to partake. I know you're a busy guy doing all the job that the county requires of you, but grew up being a Chicago Cubs fan.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I've always been not always, but nearly always been a Reds fan, and neither one of them have a lot to brag about this year.
No, sir. We haven't had in several years, and going back decades before that. So, but at least we did finally win another World Series.
And mentioning the Titans, we do carry their games here. They did look pretty good yesterday, and I thought they had a good chance to beat the Falcons, but for somebody to come in and throw 4 touchdowns, and that was their scoring, 28 points, 4 touchdowns by this rookie quarterback. And they say that Mariota did this a few years ago. And the only other one before those two was Fran Tarkington in his inaugural game to throw 4 touchdowns. That's something.
Yeah, well, credit anybody who makes it to the NFL. I mean, that's a rare accomplishment for somebody to actually make it into that league. But we haven't felt real good when the backup quarterback had to play in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I guess you can say that again. Well, I brought you out here because I want to just Mayor Hutto comes here once a month. We talk about some of his activities and what's on the agenda for the county commission that evening. Mike Jennings comes and we talk about what did take place when we get through talking about UT football. And by the way, they did beat Kentucky over the weekend. I know the big orange country's happy.
yes.
And us Vanderbilt fans, I think you're still one of them a little bit.
I will die Vanderbilt fans.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
Unfortunately, Ole Miss ran over us, but it was, I guess, to be expected. But anyway, what I was going to say, I'm rambling here this morning. We don't get to talk the dollars and cents an awful lot, even when we move money around, which has to be done, I guess, every county commission meeting. There's nearly every time there's some money that's moved around a little bit. But all of this really has to do with your office and as finance director, and you pretty much know about every cent that comes in, how it's spent as finance director. Is that not right?
That's if you want me to recite everything that happens from memory, no, I can't do that. But yes, I'm involved in all of that. Yes, sir.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering, how are we right now? Where do we stand? I mean, we've got we have debt that we're paying off. Of course, we borrow money, bonds, whatever. We have a really good rating, I understand. But we know that with the growth that we're having, more schools are going to be built. We've got to take care of our roads and infrastructure and all of this. And are we in pretty good shape financially?
Coleman, the county's in excellent shape. Now, that being said, I would never sit here and say that the day will never come when an increase of revenue of some kind won't be necessary to build a school or, I just don't think that's a realistic statement to make. That's for politicians to make. I'm not a politician. So if somebody on the political side wants to come and sit down and say that will never have to happen, that's up to them. As finance director, I do not believe that, based on the 12 years that I've spent in the job and the 18 years in public accounting prior to that. At some point in time, but it's something, a school building, the staffing of a school, changes in things that are needed different places. Something at some point will cause a tax increase, but I don't see that it being an immediate problem.
What kind of reserves do we have? Are we in pretty good shape there?
Reserves, as far as I know, are highest that they've ever been. You're sitting right now on about $26 million in the general fund. Now, people get confused, saying, "Well, if you have $26 million, why don't you use that to build a school or whatever?" Well, that $26 million is non-recurring. Once I spend that $26 million, it's gone. So it's like your savings account if you stop putting money into it. Hopefully every year we come out in the black. That's my goal, is for us to actually take in more revenue than we spend. And then we can apply that where it's needed in future years.
Well, now, is this $26 million an indication that we have been doing that pretty well?
Correct. Yes, sir. And really, if the governments are honest about it, we were inundated with money during COVID.
Yeah.
The state and federal government both, put a lot of money into local governments. And the biggest part of that, half of it at least, is basically COVID money.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. We got to take a break. More there in Maynard coming up here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, where premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still heavy out here where you would expect this time of the morning on 65 southbound here at Trinity Lane is still very busy on Vietnam Vets westbound at Conference Drive, working your way towards I-65. It's very heavy now up through Spring Hill on 65 going northbound, coming out of Murray County into Williamson County. 24, that's heavy also westbound up by Bell Road, coming in from Rutherford County. Prince's Hot Chicken is hiring at all 4 locations. Check out that menu at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When it comes to Medicare plans designed to meet your needs and budget, there's no place like Farm Bureau Health Plans. We've got Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare Supplements, Part D, dental, vision, designed with folks like you in mind. Visit our office at 214 North Castle Heights here in Lebanon. You can see Charlotte Webster for your Medicare or other health plan needs. You can always get a quote for auto, home, life insurance, and also commercial insurance. Then again, West Dugan, Farm Bureau, Castle Heights office.
Hi, this is Randy Ryan. I'm with Zaxby's of Lebanon, and I just want to wish WANT a happy 30th anniversary. It's great to have a great radio station here in Lebanon.
Hi, this is Dr. Patel at Lebanon Family Pharmacy, and I want to wish a happy 30th anniversary to WANT 98.9.
Hello, this is Shelley Gardner, your 15th District Public Defender. I want to wish WANT a happy 30th anniversary. Thank you all for what you do. It's that time of year, time for the 11th annual The Mill at Christmas, Friday, November 3rd and Saturday, November 4th at The Mill at Lebanon. Join us Friday, November 4th, VIP Sip and Shop from 4 to 9 p.m. Holiday shopping bag, bubbly bar, and decadent dessert. $10 at the door, perfect for the girls' night out. Saturday, November 5th, family fun and all-day shopping event, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come see Santa. He arrives at noon. The Mill at Christmas, the ultimate shopping experience. Find us on Facebook, The Mill at Christmas.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us. It's a Monday morning, and you have a magnificent day. I'll wish you that again today this morning, as I always do. Aaron Maynard is with us, our County Finance Director. Now, I want to bring up something. I told you the other day I was going to ask you this. We just had, or will have tomorrow, actually, the last day of October, a sales tax moratorium, or Yeah, I guess that's the word. Anyway, we haven't had to pay sales tax on food for 3 months, which ends tomorrow. And that's got to affect sales tax collection a little bit, because I know that when my wife has gone to the grocery store, we haven't had to pay sales tax for 3 months on most items. And, of course, that's a great consumer benefit. And I think the state's okay with this. I think we're going to survive and be fine. But I'm wondering, what has that done as far as our counties and cities go? Because they get sales tax revenue.
Yeah, well, the state of Tennessee has been very fair on this issue. They require those food sales to be reported on the sales tax return, even though they don't collect the sales tax on them. But they still pay the local portion back to the cities and the county.
Oh, so we haven't suffered at all.
We have not suffered at all, thanks to the state on the way they
do that. They didn't get it, but they're still paying you. So that's coming from somewhere, but we'll let them worry about that.
Correct.
But we're not hurting at all.
No, sir. In fact, we're up year over year. For the first 3 months, we're up over $700,000. That's cities and counties combined, everything. The sales tax collections overall are up over $700,000 for the first 3 months.
Well, it seems that, we thrive here. When sales tax collections are good, it seems everything's good, the economy, whatever. And with the influx of people and the growth that we've had, the economy, the turnover of dollars, their sales tax revenue, it's good, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Growth can be a great thing. I tell people all the time, and it's not nothing that we have to worry about here. But the main challenge you would face as a local government is not growth. It would be if you were in population decline. If you actually had a bunch of vacant houses and we didn't have enough people spending money, et cetera, that would be a much worse problem to face than the growth.
What about the inflation that we are facing, though, and everything seems to be a little bit higher now? I can't think of anything that isn't, but there might be a few. But I mean, everything. I went on vacation, for example. I paid more for 10 nights in Florida this year than I paid for 11 last year, quite a bit more, actually. And we see it. We go to restaurants. They have new menus. I mean, it's how do you see this affecting the county and your job as our finance director?
It's a challenge. I mean, we have to constantly, as you mentioned at the opening of the show, budgets have to be adjusted because thankfully in government, you can't spend money unless the county commission, which is the legislative body of the county, if it doesn't appropriate the funds, you can't spend it. So we have to go back and ask for adjustments because stuff is more expensive than we originally thought. The worst problem that we've had for several years now is supply chain issues, stuff we just can't get. We're behind replacing, sheriff's department vehicles, things like that, because we just can't get an order to satisfy what we need.
What about how's this going to affect the pay scale for county employees? And I know that that we've had to up the pay for bus drivers, for example. The school has a shortage there. I don't know about other workers, but it affects us all.
Yeah, well, we all had the experience driving down the street and seeing the help wanted signs everywhere and looking at what various businesses are paying. When you're paying $16, $17, $18 an hour, to get people to show up at fast food, work. And there's, I'm not disparaging fast food workers. That's not the point. The point is that, you have to make adjustments. We've had to make adjustments. When we have to pay a competitive wage in order to keep, and in order to attract people. We have to have people, corrections officers, willing to go into the jail and work. Mm-hmm. That requires a certain wage. Your patrol officers, so on and so forth, all the way up and down the line. We have to study and be competitive. We pay a firm to do a pay study. We did do it every 3 years. I think now we're going to do it every 2. We put a step plan in place so that we could, more or less guarantee a 2% increase every year. which we've never had before. So we've put things in place to try to maintain our staff in order to try to attract staff, particularly in areas where they are very hard to come by. It's very hard to come by paramedics and EMTs.
What do you see for the future in this regard? And I'm talking primarily about county employees and filling our positions, and that would be everything from workers in the jail to school teachers, I guess.
Well, I see us continuing to do what we've done, which is to continue to try to study, what teachers and other like employees are being paid, and try to be competitive with that. We've never said we wanted to set the market. We've never said we want to be on top. What we've said is we want to be competitive so that, you could drive over to another county and make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more dollars a year, but is it worth it if you live here? So we want to be competitive, but we don't want to set the market. The trend that I see, I don't see these wages going down anytime. I mean, I see it continuing to be a challenge, which is one of those things we talked about earlier. At some point, this stuff requires funding. Most of your listeners probably don't realize everything that I said we did. In the last 2 years, we've put almost $9 million, almost $10 million into employee compensation in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And we've done that without raising taxes, which most of your listeners probably don't realize.
All right. Now, we have our property tax, which comes into the county and the city, if you live in the city, whatever. Boy, is the sales tax the big thing? Is that really what's...
Sales tax drives cities. So by law, the first half of sales tax is required to go to education. So by law, when you buy something, and I'm speaking of the local option portion, the 7% goes to the state.
Right.
The 2.75%, the local option percentage, by law, the first half of that goes to education. So it does help pay teachers. In fact, we put a referendum in front of the public a few years ago to set aside for a 0.5-cent sales tax increase to be designated to go to teacher pay. So that's what happened with that. The other half of sales tax goes to the place where the sale actually happened. Mm-hmm. So the geographic location, obviously, most of your sales are going to take place in the city of Lebanon and the city of Mount Juliet. Right. So your cities run on sales tax. County, we get some sales tax outside of what goes to education, but we don't run on that. In fact, what we typically use it for is to help pay debt service for school buildings and other things.
All right, we got about 3 minutes here. I'm going to ask you, you have to work, I think, fairly closely with Mayor Hutto, and also I want you to talk about your association with all 25 commissioners. You hold an important position here as county finance director, no doubt. How often, how close do you work with Mayor Hutto?
Mayor Hutto and I work very closely together. I've known him for a number of years, and I'm in his office at least once a week, and he basically sets the course. Certainly we discuss it, but he's an extremely smart individual, and I'm privileged to work with him.
Yeah, and now there are 25 county commissioners. I can't help but think there are a few of them you're closer to than others, and some you might not have much, not even see too often, but am I wrong?
Well, certainly there are, over the course of time in any group, you have some people that you gravitate towards or that gravitate toward you. But I'm grateful for, first off, these people serve for $800 a month. Now, that may sound like a lot of money, but it's not. They don't get any benefits. They get...
they all have cell phone bills.
They get complaints from the public. They get complaints from employees. I've often wondered what makes somebody really want to do this and come back term after term after term, because it seems to me that it's just, it's a lot of problems to have to deal with for not a whole lot of money. And you don't ever make everybody happy, of course.
Yeah. Well, what do they mostly want from you?
Generally, when I talk to a county commissioner, they have an idea about how we might fund something, and they want to run it past me to see if I think it's feasible, or They they want to ask me about a particular expenditure that a department needs and where we might be able to find some money to come up with for that. And it generally has to do with revenue and expenditure type things. Occasionally, it's all revenue and expenditure type things. We've had a lot of discussion lately that's been documented. If you've seen the meetings, read the minutes, whatever, surrounding adequate facilities tax, we've talked a lot about that. Mm-hmm. But usually it's questions about, we need to get something for a particular department. Is there a way we can do that? Or what if we use this revenue source for that? Can we do that? Those kinds of questions.
But basically I think what you're saying, you have a pretty good relationship really with all 25 of them.
I really do, I think. And there's not any of them that I would say at this point in time. Of course, I wouldn't say it on the radio anyway, but there's not any of them that I don't really, have a good feeling about. They've all been extremely gracious to me so far. So.
Well, you've been extremely gracious to us to come out whenever we ask you, and I appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you much.
Good discussion, and really, I think we have a lot to be thankful for here as far as our finances go in Wilson County.
No question.
All right, thank you so much. Aaron Maynard, our County Finance Director, and that's part one of Coleman & Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. Get that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil. Tax and disposal, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A multi-vehicle crash. It's in Brentwood on 65 southbound. We're just past OHB. It's got traffic really slow coming down through South Nashville right now, trying to get into Brentwood on 65 southbound. At Old Hickory Boulevard, still heavy 24 west coming out of Rutherford County. Still wants to run slow 65 south at Trinity Lane. Still heavy traffic on Vietnam Vets westbound there in Conference Drive. Princess Hot Chicken is hiring at all locations. Check them out at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
Now's the time to get a great deal on proven Kubota farming equipment. Tractors that are adaptable, versatile, and rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Hay tools that are backed by a 2-year warranty. And durable Sidekick utility vehicles and SSV skid steers. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 48 months now through December 31st. Visit KubotaUSA.com for full details.
Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, Lebanon.
Showers likely this morning, mostly cloudy skies by this afternoon. We'll see that high of 54 degrees. North winds could gust up to 20 miles per hour at times. Winds calming down tonight. We do still carry a slight chance of showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, down to 34. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction of real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com, where they know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
Coleman & Company, welcome to Mark here on a Monday morning. We welcome you, and I guess we welcome rain. I don't particularly welcome the cold weather, but it's coming too. We're ready to talk about Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Billy Mullinex is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Oh, it's good to see you. You're bouncing that needle off over here.
Well, I'll try to talk a little lower if I need to.
Let me turn you down a little bit, and everything be all right.
All right.
Billy is general manager for Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Comes here every Monday at this time to talk about all that they're doing, and you are doing a lot. You've got a great location there on the easy side of Mount Juliet, which we talk about every Monday.
Yep, we do. It's on the easy side. We've got a great location, a great inventory. Coleman, we've got over 220 new vehicles and almost 100 pre-owned. So, got a great selection. Be a great time if somebody is even thinking they're in the market, just to come by and take a look at what we've got. See if you can't find something that you'd like a little better than what you've got.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is we've talked about this quite a bit, but your inventory is so much better now than it was a couple of years ago. Your choices, you've got a lot more to choose from, which makes shopping more enjoyable. Got to.
Well, it is. I mean, when you know, a vehicle is a very large purchase. You know, they say it's the second largest purchase for most people behind their home. And, you know, you like to feel like that when you spend that kind of money that you're able to get what you want and not just settle for what you can find. And so, you know, a year and a half ago, and it wasn't just us, it was nearly everybody. You know, you just had to settle for what you could find if you were wanting to get a new vehicle at that time. But, you know, things have changed. The market has certainly got a few more new vehicles in it now. And it's like I said, it's just a great time if somebody's looking for something.
Well, I got to ask you this. We do know about an auto worker strike. You think that's going to have much effect on your inventory?
Well, Coleman, I think that Stellantis, who is our parent company, if you will, they own several brands, but Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram being those, I think they got a tentative agreement worked out Saturday or yesterday, one of the two.
So that's in your favor then.
That is, it's definitely has had an impact, more so at this point on our parts distribution for service because they were striking at our parts distribution facilities, which is where we get all of our parts to service our vehicles with. So it was pretty grim there for a little bit. So hopefully that will kind of open back up this week.
All right. We, of course, are talking about Mount Jewett, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and we want you to see that entire inventory of new and pre-owned cars at MountJewettCDJR.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
That's the place to get started.
Well, that's where most people do start this day and time is, and that's true whether you're shopping for a vehicle or really whatever you're shopping for. Most people start online, and as we say all the time, it's a great place to start because you can go to our website and shop and see a price and not have to leave your personal information in order to get a price unless you choose to submit us a lead or want some more information about a vehicle, and then we'll be glad to respond to that.
Well, that's I think that's the way it ought to be done.
I do too.
That's why you're doing it.
That's right.
That way.
Yep.
All right. Well, we talk about your service, and you have a great service department. But what I was going, I'd lost my train of thought. What I wanted to mention was this is the next to last day of the month, and I think it is still true at Mount Jewett, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram that at the end of the month that used car you're trading in might be worth just a little bit more, so you have a better month.
I think that'll always be true, Coleman. You know, it's you always, I don't care what business you're in, you like to wrap your month up as strong as you possibly can. So if you're trading something, we may be willing to put just a little bit more in it today and tomorrow to kind of get things wrapped up in a good fashion for the month, and we might have been at the very first of the month.
Yeah, and if we're going to be thinking cold weather here for the next 2 or 3 days. And
I wish you hadn't said that.
I know, I hate it, but it's coming.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at, if you don't think that car is good enough to make it through the winter, that's another reason to trade today.
Well, I mean, that's exactly right, Coleman, because as cars get older, vehicles get older, they are not always reliable, especially when you get into those extreme temperatures, which you know, I certainly hope we won't have this year, but we did last year. You know, had some pretty extreme colds. So, yeah, that's a good point.
All right, you're open Monday through Saturday. Your sales department is 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., and you have a great service department there we'd like to brag about, too.
Well, and if your vehicle is just not, if you don't feel as good about it as you did, maybe because winter is coming on, you need to get maybe a flush done on the antifreeze, the radiator and cooling system. You know, maybe it's time to get it into our service department. If you're just not ready to commit to a different vehicle, just make sure that the one you've got's in great shape.
All right. Well, that's about it for our time this morning. Billy, have a great week. I think you've had a good October. We wish you a wonderful November, and see you next Monday. All right. Billy Mullinax, again, General Manager, Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. All right, this morning on part 2 of Coleman & Company, my guests are here, and we're going to be talking about a special event coming up this Saturday, November 4th, and I'm talking about the 50th Gospel Music Festival presented by the Fred Van Hook family. And I have the 3 children who are here this morning, and we'll welcome James Van Hook first. Good morning.
Morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is good to see you, and you have your 2 sisters here.
Yes, sir. I brought reinforcements this year.
Well, we have had you on for, 2 or 3 years.
Last 3 for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And but there's something special about the 50th almost of anything. If you've been married for 50 years, your golden wedding anniversary. The 50th Gospel Music Festival, it doesn't seem like it ought to be 50 years ago that Fred Van Hook started this, but
yes, sir.
But it has been, and this is you're celebrating this in a pretty big way.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was 50 years ago that actually Daddy and Kenneth White had started. He helped him for several years, and then he moved on to do some other things, but never even considered missing a year all those years. Almost missed it in 2020 because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We may have talked about this last year that we decided we had it outdoors at the fairgrounds because of the COVID thing going on, and but didn't want to not have it. So 50 years nonstop, that's a record for almost anything.
Well, do us a favor and introduce your sisters who are with you.
Yes, sir. My oldest sister, Joyce Holloman.
Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning, Coleman.
All right.
And the middle sister, Jeanette Harvey. And I'm the baby, of course, always.
Well, have all 3 of you had a role in this to some extent over the years? Jeanette, you used to sing. I know you were there. And Joyce, I know maybe you didn't sing, but you had a big thing to do with the promotion, and you
I'm behind the scenes.
You started creative graphics years ago. In the corner of the Reed and Bland building.
That's
I remember that
43
very well.
years ago.
So you all have your role to play in this.
I'm behind the scenes, but my brother and sister, they sing with Daddy, and my brother-in-law, who's over here, he sings with them too, with the Harmoniers. But Jeanette has sung with Daddy for many, many years, and then a few years after that, James Franklin started.
We actually started in fall of 1980 is when I first started singing with Daddy.
Okay.
And that's kind of when the Harmoniers got together.
Well, now, we haven't really said, other than it's this coming up this Saturday, let's get right down to all about it here. It's going to be actually the Emmanuel Baptist Church. Right?
Yeah, the Emmanuel Baptist Church. The last 3 years we've moved it over there because it's Dad's home church, and they really wanted to host it, to honor his feat of doing this, so many years, and they've always been a big part of it. Even Mark Caruth, the music director, and also the pastor Jeff Pratt. Big supporters of it. Of course, Mom and Daddy have been members there, the whole family, for many, many, many years. And they just wanted to host it. They're a big supporter, and Mark helps run it. He's performing this year also.
Well, I've got a little flyer, a little information here, and one of the things I see is that it says free admission. Love offering will be taken.
Yes, sir.
Nobody can argue with that, I guess.
That's right. It used to be a ticketed event, really all the way up. Not 2020 when it was at the fairgrounds, but all the years before that was a ticketed event. Just because you have a lot of expenses to cover, and a lot of Dad used to bring in groups from further away, and there's always expenses. We decided to go to love offering the last 3 years, partly because of simplicity. Dad would work on this all year, And it's a big undertaking, but that, and also we just wanted to get everybody we could there, and it's worked out great between our sponsors and the offering that has been given freely. Everything has been covered, and that's all we're looking for is just a cover. It's not a money-making venture, just
and quite a bit. I take quite a bit less work for somebody too.
A fair amount less work. You've got a lot of work involved in, which would probably be Joyce.
It takes a lot
mostly.
of people behind.
This, I guess, to some extent, has been a family thing all these 50 years. Then,
Absolutely. Yes, sir. That's right.
And I know, Joyce, that you, I guess, even from the beginning, had a role in the background with the print and all this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Jeanette, you like to sing.
And I guess I was there with the singing end of it, and a little bit, with the talking to sponsors and that kind of thing, and which we're very proud of our sponsors. We've had some of the same for many years, even way back in the since the beginning.
I was just thinking, James, you might just been a little boy 50 years ago. I don't know.
When Dad started had it in 1974, the first one at McFadden Auditorium, I can remember running the hallways down beneath in the basement. And,
literally.
I would have been 10 years old. I wouldn't have quite been 11 yet. No, I take that. I would have been 8 going on 9. That's right.
But you do remember it.
Yes, sir. I remember every year it was a thing. I'd see how much running around I could do. Well, I wasn't a lot of help back then, I'm sure.
I can remember a few times on our FM at that time, we would broadcast on, it was on a Saturday night, and broadcast from McFadden Auditorium. Mm-hmm. And, of course, back in those days, you did have, I believe they were called the Kingdom Heirs, Kenneth Whitehead.
Yes, sir, that was Kenneth Whitehead's group at the time.
And, Dad's group was the Proclamations.
Yeah. But a lot has changed, a lot of water over the dam, but still, 50 years, you're still doing this.
That's right.
Now, we need to go to a break, but I'm going to ask you this. This might be the last one, or is that still up in the air?
Nothing's set in stone. Dad had said, even before he got sick, over the past few years, he said, if anything ever happened to him, he would like to see it go at least 50 years. Mm-hmm. That was kind of his goal. And then anything after that would be gravy, I guess you might say. Okay. So we're yet to be sure.
With that, we will take our break right here, but don't go away. A lot more on the other side. This is Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still working this accident in Williamson County at 65 southbound here at OHB, or just past OHB in Brentwood. It's got traffic really slow in South Nashville on 65 southbound. Going into Brentwood, still a lot of traffic volume. I-40 coming in through Wilson County, especially Mount Juliet right now, through Hermitage into Donaldson on 40 westbound. A steady flow of traffic continues to come in from Murfreesboro on 24 westbound up through the Hickory Hollow area. Hey, there's an adventure around every corner at the Memphis Zoo. If you haven't been there in a while or ever before, check them out online at memphiszoo.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
Hey, I'm Jason Anderson. I want to wish WANT a happy 30th anniversary.
This is Jamie Phillips from the Lebanon Senior Center. We want to wish WANT 98.9 a happy 30th anniversary.
Hey, it's Tom Bell with Flex for a Cause. Just want to wish WANT a happy 30th. Good job. Y'all keep it up.
It's Kurt Baker with Wilson Bank and Trust, and I just want to say happy 30th anniversary to WANT Real Country 98.9 FM. You're a staple of our community, and I don't know where or what we'd be without you. Happy anniversary.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Charity tournaments.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Monday morning. We're anticipating colder weather. We don't want to talk about that, but a little rain today and turning cold, going to freeze here in a day or two, but it's pretty warm and toasty in here this morning, and I do have with me, if you just joined us, James Van Hook and his 2 sisters, Joyce Holloman and Jeanette Harvey, and we're talking about the 50th Gospel Music Festival to be held this Saturday, November 4th at the Emmanuel Baptist Church, 214 Castle Heights Avenue here in Lebanon, and it starts at 6:30, right?
Yes, sir.
6:30, and we got some groups we're going to be talking about, but this is presented by the Fred Van Hook family. Fred and I guess Kenneth Whited at the time started this 50 years ago, and it has gone continuously for 50 years,
yes,
even though it's changed places. One time at least once at the fairgrounds when we had COVID, but somehow you've managed to exist for 50 years here. And as we were going to the break, James said it remains to be seen whether this will be the last one or not. But just in case, wonder if there's anybody that's been to all 50 of these. Jeanette, I bet you have.
We've talked about that.
I've been to 49. There was one I had there was a conflict with the dates, got messed up, but I've helped with. This will be 49.
All right.
So with that being the case, I actually meant to ask Joyce that. I couldn't remember if she had ever missed one. So that would mean there's probably most surely Mom is the only one ever been to every one, because I missed 5 when I was gone with the military, and I think you were living
I was out of state 1 year.
Yeah.
So Mother Faye Van Hook has been at all 50, and she has been right there all along helping him in the background do so many things.
Let's talk about who's going to be there. Now, you have a group yourself that's going to be singing.
Yes, sir. Our group, the Harmoniers, which all these years was Fred Van Hook and the Harmoniers. We just continued on with Harmonier, and Joyce's husband, John. Jeanette's husband, John, that sang with Daddy years and years back in the 70s, 80s, and everything. He stepped in and singing with us now, and so we're continuing on with our group.
All right. Let's talk about the Kingsway Quartet.
Kingsway Quartet has been to several of the festivals over the last few years. I don't want to say the names wrong, so I'll read them. Nathan and Chris and Michael and Jason, the current members. They're a great group. Local, mainly sort of Mount Juliet and Lebanon area. A lot of people know them, always good. Mercy Road Quartet also going to be there. They've been a real regular group for the last years, and have Mike Wigington and Bobby Vaughn that was with Mercy Road until he stepped back last year. They've been a big help in helping me continue it after Dad passed, and even before. They came to several and were very instrumental. And Mark Caruth also is going to be performing. He's the minister of music at Emmanuel. Is he
going to be playing or singing or both?
Both. And also he's got a group. There's some sickness in the group right now, so we're not 100% sure of what his group will look like. It could be a soloist, a duet, or a trio. We don't know. Okay. But either way, it'll be great.
But not a quartet.
Always, well, possibly. Probably not. And there are some other soloists who've kind of brought on sort of in the last. We tried to make this, being 50 years, it's dedicated to all the performers and musicians over the years. A lot of them aren't with us anymore.
Yeah.
But we try to bring people into this one that have been to multiples, and a lot of the so Bobby Vaughn is actually coming we're pretty sure he's coming to do some solo. Suzanne Winfrey is a lady out of Gordonsville that's been to several concerts, is coming as a soloist. And also Greg Baltzley, who has sang with Daddy over the years very much and as solo work. He's coming to do a couple.
Well, you were talking about different ones that have come in the past. There's one group that I particularly remember, and I will never forget this, and this was over at McFadden Auditorium. This group, they were the Loopers.
Yes.
I think they were from Livingston.
Yes.
And they sang this song, "There Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down."
Absolutely.
And I will never forget hearing them that night. They were a little bit more country
Yes,
kind of
sir.
sounding. And when they got to the microphone, I mean, they didn't stay 2 feet away like you are this morning. They were right in it, and I mean, they just blared out. But they were very talented. I guess you'd say country gospel group, but they I guess made an indelible impression on me.
Yes, sir.
And I really liked that song.
We actually ended up doing that song some over the years after that. But them and many other groups like that. A lot of groups that were like you might consider semi-professional, or a lot of them were not full-time at all, but came from. You've got all the way from the Blackwood Brothers have been there. A lot of big groups over the years. The Kinsmen, way back in the day, came several times, and I can't even think. Siegel Brothers and Naomi. I think there's way too many to name.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too. I think the genre, the gospel music has changed a lot. I mean, I grew up. There used to be on WCOR a lot of gospel music was played, and some of the Nashville had some. I mean, we're talking about back in the 50s and maybe early 60s. But I mean, you had the Spear Family, and you had the Blackwood Brothers, and the Statesmen, and the Florida Boys, and a few others that I can remember. And it has changed considerably.
Right.
They don't think the sound is exactly the chord. They nearly always had a piano player and four people harmony.
The real basic 4-man quartet with the keyboard is not as common as it was. There's still some out there, but you've got a lot of nowadays in the professional side of it. You've got a lot of families who are mixed ladies and men, kids, and the music side is a lot more kind of advanced, but a lot of them are very, very good these days. Very, very high quality, but it's different than it was. I guess everything evolves.
Yeah, that's right. If you don't like change, you need to go hide somewhere.
Right. Yes.
Everything's good change.
But Jeanette, you've been singing, and you enjoy singing. By the way, who are the Harmoniers? The two of you, right?
Okay, right.
James and Jeanette.
Yes, sir. And John Harvey, Jeanette's husband.
Okay.
And Lynn Winfrey has been singing with Daddy for 50-something years. She wouldn't want me to say probably exactly.
Prior to Harmoniers.
Even. And then Janet Bain, who has been with Daddy 30-something years.
Yeah.
And that makes up all five of us.
How it starts at 6:30? Would you have a break? Would it go continuously? When's it going to be over?
We don't usually take a break because we don't, being there at the church, we don't do a concession stand or anything like we used to, like at the Capitol, for example. So we don't really take a break, but people come out and go as they need to. Typically 6:30 to 9:15 in that category.
Okay, well now each group will just have their one time. I have known when you would sing and go through the line and everybody get a second chance. You don't do that.
No. So we have two trying to involve too many people to do 2 rounds. So it's just 1 round through there.
Okay. The Kingsway Quartet, the Harmoniers, that's the 3 of you that are here with us this morning. Not you, Joyce, but...
But she'll be there.
Lynn Winfrey, and who's the other one?
And Janet Bain.
All right. And, Mercy Road Quartet, Mark Caruth, and Bobby Vaughn, perhaps, and a few others.
Yes, Suzanne Winfrey and Greg Baltzley.
Yeah.
That's what we've got planned.
Yeah,
yes,
I remember Greg. Well, we got about 2 minutes left here this morning. Anything we've left out? Anything else you want to really emphasize?
Well, we just really like to make sure we thank our sponsors. As Jeanette mentioned, a lot of these have been there over the years. Could I run through them just real fast? In no particular order of importance, just the way they're listed. Cedarstone Bank, Remax, West Main Realty, Wesley Mortgage is John Burking, Bill and Joan Bryson, Henderson Florist, Partlow Funeral Home, Wilson Bank and Trust, Pew's Tire and Service, First Freedom Bank, Creative Graphics, Ligon and Bobo Funeral Home, Exit Rocky Top Realty is Mike and Judy Cox, Emmanuel Baptist Church, Winfrey's Roan Jewelries, Farm Bureau Insurance West Dugan, Image 360, and Heads Up Family Hair Cutting Center.
You've got a lot of friends.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, it's nice to have that support.
Right.
And you've had a group, maybe not all of them, but they have supported you and your father over the years. So
yes, sir.
That's good to know, too. Well, again, reminder, it's this Saturday, November 4th, and free admission, but a love offering will be taken.
And also, one more sponsor that I didn't mention is has a place of special on our program is WANT Radio. Coleman and Company has been a supporter many years. I don't remember when Dad didn't do a segment and get support from the radio.
Always enjoyed having him, and I see your mother from time to time. She'll thank me for doing that, and she'll probably thank me for y'all being here today. Let me thank Susie really for making the station possible.
Absolutely. And happy birthday happy 30th anniversary, I might say, like everyone else has been saying.
Well, thank y'all for being with us. I've really enjoyed this, and I hope it's beneficial. James Van Hook, Joyce Holloman and Jeanette Harvey have been talking here. John Harvey in the background over here. What does he sing?
He sings bass.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
John.
He can sing anything he needs to, but that's what he's doing right now.
Well, we're out there. Thanks for being with us again.
Thank you,
this
Coleman.
Saturday at Emmanuel Baptist Church. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.